When we look back to 2020, it was already a year of headlines. A global pandemic, major social upheaval, everything seemed charged with anxiety. And yet, tucked into the spring and summer of that year, another story quietly rose to become both a real ecological concern and a media sensation. The arrival of what the press called the murder hornet in North America. Let's take a journey into how this dramatic narrative unfolded, what exactly was at stake, and how, as against the odds, human vigilance, science and cooperation played out in a tense, real-life battle between species. First, the creature at the center of this story, the insect known scientifically as Asian Giant Hornet, or more officially today, as the Northern Giant Hornet. Its name changed in 2022 by the entomological community. This is the largest hornet species in the world. Adults can measure up to 1.52 inches, that's roughly 4 or 5 centimeters in length, with bold orange-yellow heads, large mandibles, and a body that unmistakably stands out from the smaller native hornets and wasps. Native to parts of Asia, Japan, Korea, China, Russia's Far East, this hornet is adapted to hunt and raid bee colonies in its home range. There, its behavior has been extensively studied. It conducts slaughter phases, in which adult bees are killed en masse, their brood taken. So when reports of it showing up in North America began to surface, alarm bells rang for one very specific reason. Honeybees and other pollinators in the US and Canada are already under stress. The thought of a super predator hornet joining the mix raised worries about ecosystem, agriculture and crop pollination. The story begins in late 2019. In August, on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, a nest of these hornets was discovered and destroyed. Then in December, a dead specimen was found in Whatcom County, Washington. From there, 2020 opened the floodgates of media attention. Reports citing requests traps set beekeepers on edge. The phrase murder hornet became viral. Social media memes emerged. It was one more ominous headline in a scary year. But what were the actual facts behind the fear? It's important to separate the sensational from the scientific. Yes, the hornet is large. Yes, it can, in its native environment, severely affect honeybee colonies. But no, it was not a newly emerging threat to humans across all of North America. Experts emphasized that while vigilance was needed, panic was not the correct response. Let's unpack some of the key facts. 1. The hornet primarily targets bees, not humans. It will attack humans only when its nest is disturbed. 2. Its presence in North America was limited. As of early 2020, only Washington and British Columbia had confirmed detections. 3. The biggest concern was ecological and agricultural. The risk that if this hornet established large colonies, it could wipe out beehives, reducing pollination and thus affecting crops. So with that perspective, the story became, could this hornet establish itself in North America? And if so, what would that mean? The agencies, beekeepers, entomologists mobilized. In the spring and summer of 2020, trapping programs were launched in Washington. Public education campaigns asked residents to report giant hornet sightings, bees behaving strangely, nests. Monitoring data started being collected and mapped. By October 2020, the major headline moment, a nest was finally located near Blaine, Washington, in Whatcom County, near the Canadian border. Inside that nest were hundreds of hornets, including many queens. Officials estimated the nest held about 500 live specimens and about 200 queens. The effort to eradicate the nest took special care. The tree cavity where the nest was located was treated with carbon dioxide to kill or anesthetize the insects, and then removed. That moment marked a turning point. It showed that detection and intervention were possible, that the invader might yet be contained. The agencies declared cautious optimism, but it wasn't over yet. In the months that followed, efforts continued. Surveillance remained high. Traps remained deployed. Public cooperation, in recognizing possible hornets sending photos, played a key role. The fight to prevent establishment of this invasive species became not just a scientific mission, but a community mission. One of the lessons of this story, early detection plus community awareness plus interagency coordination. In 2022, an important update, the official common name of the species was changed by the Entomological Society of America from Asian Giant Hornet, murder hornet, to Northern Giant Hornet to remove xenophobic overtones and to align with scientific naming norms. And then in December 2024, an even bigger announcement. U.S. officials declared that the Northern Giant Hornet had been successfully eradicated in the U.S., with no confirmed detections since 2021. It is a rare moment of victory in the ongoing global challenge of invasive species. Now, let's imagine how the viewer sees this on screen. The introduction shows dramatic footage of a giant hornet flying, maybe close-up of that orange-yellow head, then transition to beehives, alarmed beekeepers, traps being set in forests, then a map of Washington, Canada, showing location of first sightings, then a sequence of the nest discovery in Blaine, tree cavity, specialist teams in protective suits, hornets being vacuumed out, then closing on hopeful scenes, beekeepers sighing relief, media announcing eradication. Finally, here's how you might close the narration. In the grand scheme, the murder hornet panic of 2020 was more than an insect story. It was a mirror of our times, fear, uncertainty, the thin line between sensational headlines and genuine ecological alarm. But it also offered hope that when communities mobilize, when science, policy, and public awareness join forces, we can head off threats before they explode. The battle with the Northern Giant Hornet may have been won, yet nature remains full of surprises, and our shared responsibility to monitor, protect, and respect the environment has never been more urgent.